It's August 2nd, 2026. After seconds and minutes, and days really of speculation, we're about to find out where Yannis Mustermann will manage next season. He's going to tell us right now, in the middle of an hour-long ESPN special titled The Decision. This is weird. How the hell did we get here? Yannis Mustermann has been talking for a while already, and the things he said shine some light on the events preceding this moment. Like this.
And that's what I did last year. I put myself in a position to have this process.
Yannis really did put himself in this position. The summer prior, after a messy exit from PAOK over a pay dispute, Mustermann was unveiled as the Real Zaragoza manager. There was a condition. For 6 months he could not apply for another club job. He had no intention of doing so, but the inference was clear. After 6 months, he was free to pursue anything. During that season, Yannis' reputation has blossomed as Zaragoza won the league at a canter, only losing twice, one of which was to La Liga side Celta Vigo in the Copa del Rey. But plans for the upcoming season had been shaped by poor decisions under the previous regime. Homegrown Alejandros, Montserrat and Francis headed for the exit as their low release clauses were met. Zaragoza's efforts to provide Mustermann with a star had been lacking, with Boulaïdia and Rainier not convinced by the team's long-term plans. This is where I have to mention that rumours were circling that Zaragoza had terms agreed with Pablo Torre, but didn't want to limit opportunities for another new signing, Carlos Alvarez. It's more complicated than that, but still. Anyway, Yannis and his team had the best track record in La Liga Hypermotion, and there was no indication he was looking to leave.
You know, this city, these fans have given me a lot. For me, I'm comfortable, so it does have an edge.
Zaragoza moved quickly to find new players to launch their La Liga EA Sports campaign. The aforementioned Alvarez was joined by Quadro Dua, Yannis Antiste, and Sekou Mara in a much improved front line. Federico Redondo and Andre Duda brought excitement to midfield. Agraf Dari, Harrison Marcelin and Facundo Gonzalez retooled the defence. And then, with a new season looming, a bombshell was dropped. Yannis didn't say a word. He has control now. It isn't something new for him, which he addressed earlier in the TV special to presenter Jim Gray.
You were a free agent when looking for opportunities last season. Have you enjoyed the process more this time?
I have enjoyed it, and I want to thank all 3 teams.
Yes. Yannis had made it clear that 3 teams are in for his services. This is news. We knew about RB Leipzig. Staying at Real Zaragoza is still very much on the cards. But who is this 3rd team? 2 weeks prior, the 2026 World Cup reached its conclusion. Joint hosts USA had made the final, where, despite going 1-0 down to an early Harry Kane tap-in, they turned the game on its head with 2 goals in quick succession. Leonard Maloney, then Christian Pulisic, put them on the cusp of World Cup glory, but Bukayo Saka in the 92nd minute had different ideas. Extra time did not mean extra goals, and penalties loomed. Alejandro Zendejas took on the villain's mantle, denied by Ramsdale, as England scored all 5 to bring football home after 60 years. That game had no bearing on Mustermann's decision, but the tournament did. Penalties had been kinder to USA earlier in the competition, giving them a second-round win over Germany, which brought an end to Nagelsmann's reign. Marco Rose was chosen as the successor, opening the door at Leipzig. Spain and Portugal had fallen around earlier, leading to Imanol Alguacil replacing Jose Bordalas and Marco Silva taking over from Jose Peseiro. Could Real Sociedad or Fulham be that 3rd team that Mustermann mentioned? No. As it turned out, the alleged 3rd was never really a consideration. Borussia Mönchengladbach had sacked Ralph Hasenhüttl in December, and his replacement, Mattia Crocchi-Torti, steered them to a 7th place finish in Conference League football before departing for Hoffenheim. They'd approached Mustermann earlier in the summer. It made sense. Mustermann had pedigree in the Conference League, reaching the semi-finals with PAOK 2 years earlier. The campaign had ended in spectacular fashion, with an injury time equaliser sending the games to penalties, and not one, not two, but 4 PAOK players missed their spot kicks. They had punched above their weight, and that was clearly appealing to Gladbach, but Mustermann had rejected their overtures immediately. So we know there's 2 possibilities for Yanis's answer here. We just don't know which of the 2 he'll say.
How many people know your decision right now?
Not many.
Who is not many?
Like my family, my close friends, Timmy Mallet, everyone at the cafe this morning, Cecilia Gimenez.
The Jesus Fresco lady?
Yep,
Okay, is there anyone who doesn't know?
just you.
To no one's surprise, a lot of rumours have been percolating around all of this, and eventually some actual reports. RB Leipzig had some concerns, mostly around Yanis's lack of experience managing in Germany and relatively limited CV. The response was bullish, quick to point out that 3 successive league titles should speak for itself, and that his ambitions are to achieve similar with Leipzig. By doing so, on a smaller transfer and wage budget than the team was offering. This all sounds good, but there was no guarantee it's enough to convince chairman Johan Plenger that he is the right man for the job. The current 7-2 favourite is Julian Nagelsmann, the former national team coach who spent 2 years at RB Leipzig before departing for Bayern Munich. For all his achievements to date, Mustermann's stock is surely far too low to be a serious consideration. Which makes the announcement of a decision to be broadcast live on ESPN odd. Okay, it's time. Let's find out. Welcome to a moment in history.
This summer, man, this is very tough. This summer, I'm going to take my talents to Saxony and join RB Leipzig.
Time to break that 4th wall and put this series on a little hiatus. We'll return should FM24 allow us to import between versions. I've got a long list of videos and some other things that I want to get done before the FM24 cycle is complete. We've got some Moneyball Clinic stuff coming up, heading off to Turkey next before rattling through the remaining position groups. Which leads me to those other things. In September, I'll be streaming Moneyball FC, a creator club in Serie A on a budget. Consider this a soft launch ahead of FM25. There'll still be weekly videos on this channel, and while some of it will be related to the stream, it will be standalone, bespoke content. You know me by now, I'm not one for lazily throwing together highlights, and I've no intention to start doing that. Which leads me to say a huge thank you for following the PAOK Zaragoza series. The support has been incredible, and quite honestly, I'm humbled that you're still tuning in 25 episodes deep. Even with experimental nonsense like this, it really is appreciated. See you next time.